Good morning, Year 7s. Right, so we are on the second unit now, or the second lesson of our new unit, fractions, decimals, and percentages. I have to say that first lesson went really well. I was incredibly impressed with how well you guys just caught on to it straight away. So yeah, awesome work with your numeracy skills, with your number skills, guys, because that was yeah, it's quite impressive. There's actually one. Yeah, I'm actually going to show you. There was a really cool one here. There was one on there that was a third of a percent. Now that one really, let's make that a bit thicker. That one really caught me off guard. How many of you guys got that one right? So that was yeah, quite impressive for me. Now, a third of a percent, here's how I did it, just in case you want to see. I said a third of a percent. Well, like any other number, it's a third out of 100, because percents are always out of 100. But that's kind of a weird triple-decker fraction. So what I thought then was, let's times the top and bottom by 3. Because if I times a third by 3, it'll get rid of the thirds, so I get to go because 3/3 is 1 whole, so that gets rid of that. And that leaves the top as being 1 and the bottom as 100 times 3, which is 300. So that's how I got my answer. Now, that part's not really the interesting part. Here is what I really like that you guys did. A whole bunch of you said this. A whole bunch of you said that it's a third of 1%. And indeed it is. And that was really, I was surprised to see it this way, and I really liked it. So I'm just going to share it with everybody. Here's what you did after that. So you said it's a third of 1%, which is a third of, and you guys knew 1% was actually 1 out of 100. And then your way was way tidier than mine. You just times across the top, 1 times 1 and got 1, and times across the bottom, 3 times 100 to make 300. I actually think that your way is even better than mine. So yeah, that makes me really, really happy. And this kind of only makes me also really happy, but this is like super happy. So yeah, good. Oh, I forgot a body on that person. That's a here. I can do better than that. I can do better than that. Yeah. So yeah, I was impressed with that. So nice one, buddies. Impressed. Nice one. Cool. So here we go. Brand new thing that we're gonna do today is just starting with fractions. It's literally almost the same thing, but we're gonna start with fractions that aren't necessarily out of 100. So we're gonna go fractions, percent, and decimal for each of these. Now check it out. It's a little different to last time, and the reason why is just because there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 10 squares. So it's not 100 like last time, it's 10. So it's just a bit of not as tidy of a number. Well, to start with, we can get the fraction part really easy with this. So for the fractions, it's 3 of them, so it's just 3/10. That doesn't simplify. So bish bash bosh, you're done. Now, when we go into the percent, you guys know that percents are out of 100, so we have to just use equivalent fractions here, which I know you're going to be good at. So if we started with 3/10, well, we don't want it to have tenths anymore. We actually want it to be out of 100 on the bottom. So what can you do to the 10 to make it into 100? Well, you'll times it by 10. That's exactly right. Because if you times the top and bottom by 10, you'll get 100. You'll get it out of 100. 3 times 10 is 30. And now that the 30 is out of 100, straight away, 30%. So flying, we've got that one as well. And then the decimals now that we've practiced so much of it, you can almost steal the decimals. If you know it's 30%, just whack the decimal place over twice. Divide by 100. Divide 30 by 100 for 0.3. And boom, there's your 3 answers. 3/10, nice simplified fraction. 30% as the percent, and 0.3 is the decimal. So I hope that that's cool and that's kind of clear to you guys, because yeah, I think it will be. So I'm going to move on. Have a little try there. Maybe we can do it together. Yeah, what the heck? Let's do this one together as well. Okay. Here we go. For the fraction, again, super duper easy peasy. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. 2 of them are filled in, 2/5. That's already simplified, so hooray, all done, not playing games. Now, for the next bit, for the percent, we just need the bottom to be 100, so we need this to be out of 100. Now, 2 out of 5 is something out of 100. We basically need to know how many 5s are going to 100. Bit tricky, 5s into 100, so you can't really know how many 5s are going to 100. Here's my trick. 5 definitely goes into 10, so we're just going to cover. I'm going to have to do it with the mouse. Cover up that, Can you see how 5 goes into 10 twice? Boom, move the mouse away. That means 5 goes into 100 20 times. So 5 goes into 10 twice, move the mouse, that means it goes into 100 20 times. So we're just going to have to times then the 2 by 20 also to get 40. 40 out of 100, which means it's 40% because now it's out of 100. And then the decimal, we're just going to be stealing that decimal, not 0.4 straight away. Boom, boom, and boom. Look at us flying through this, even though these are as hard as actually these guys go, really. There's only one more trick and you finished year 7 of these. So, last one. Oh, look at that. Isn't that patriotic of us? Look at it. I put the England flag up there for you. Well, let's see if we can work it out. Or do you want to work it out? Yeah, you work it out. Push pause and figure it out. Go. Okay, hopefully you finished working it out now. And let's have a little look. Okay, so the flag is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's out of 25. And what we've got with that, out of 25, is there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of them filled in. So for a fraction, straight away, 9 out of the 25, no problemo. For the percent, we're also no problemo, I think, too. Because, yeah, we just need it to be out of 100 if it's going to be a percent. Well, you'll like this, I think. Well, 25 into 100, it goes 4 times. 25 is like a quarter. Maybe it's because I'm a Canadian or whatever. We have quarters in our coins. They're literally like a quarter of a dollar, which means they're a fourth of a dollar, which means it goes in 4 times. Sorry, that's a bit of a tangent. Anyway, 25 goes into 100 4 times. That's the thing you gotta know. So times that by 4, get 100. Times the 9 by 4, you get 36. Which means now it's out of 100, it's 36%, like a boss. And again, we'll steal the decimal. Decimals are nice and easy. 0.36, just because what we did was we took the 36 and we just divided it by 100. So that's brilliant. Hopefully that's cool. Final practice. We've not got too much to do actually today. So here's a final practice for you guys to do. So I want you to push pause as soon as I reveal it. I want you to push pause, but I want you to be aware the last question's pretty tricky, okay? So if you need to unpause, I will show you how to do it. So have a little go, but then if you get stuck, don't worry. Here you go. Boom. Do them. Go. Okay, guys, so hopefully you've had a little chance to do those because you pushed pause, even though that wasn't nearly a minute in my speaking, but yeah, that's all right. There, let's see if you got them right. So we've got here on the first one, it's out of 100 anyways. This one's actually a big result. We've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and it's on a 100 grid because it's 10 by 10. So what we've got here is just 60 out of 100 as our fraction. So fraction is 60 out of 100. Now, that needs tidying because that's not in lowest terms. 10 goes in, but if you're really swift, 20 goes in as well. 20s into 60 goes 3 times, and 20s into 100 goes 5 times. 3/5 is your fraction. Your percent, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to nick this because straight away it's on 100 squares already. So if 60 of them were filled in, it's 60%. And the decimal is a nice one to steal as well because that means it's not 0.6, simply because I took the percent and I divided the percent by 100 to get there. If you wanted to, you could put 0.60. That's not wrong either. But yeah, I just did 0.6 because the 0 isn't necessary in this case. Cool. This guy here is starting to get a bit sneakier. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them out of 5 are filled in. So for the fraction, what's happening every time? Okay, for the fraction then, here's what we've got. Straight away, 4 out of 5 filled in, just because that's what's filled in. The percent, you just need it out of 100. So, it's the same one as last time. 5s into 100, hard to tell. 5s into 10, though, is twice. And pop an extra 0 on the end, so 20. So we'll times the top and bottom both by 20. 4 times 20 is 80. Now it's out of 100. It means it's 80%. And now that we've got the percent, we'll steal the decimal and divide it by 100, 0.8. And those are your 3 answers. This guy here is a weird one as well. Let's try it out. So we've got fraction first of all. Fraction. And in our fraction, we've got, it's a 5 by 4 grid, it looks like. So that means it's out of 20. And here's what we got. 5, 10, 15, 16. 16 out of 20 is our fraction. Oh, but it simplifies, divides by 2, but if you're swift, it also divides by a 4. If you divide it by 4, 4/5, and oh no, oh dear, I've given you the same question twice. That looks a bit familiar, doesn't it? Oh no, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so it's 4/5. Good, so that's the fraction done. Now the percent, actually, because I made, oh, I don't know why that's happening. We did the same question already a minute ago. We know it's 80 out of 100, so 80%, and we're just stealing this from the last question. The decimal's 0.8. Now, here is the proper challenging one. I'm not sure how you'll have done with this. I hope well, but I'm not sure if it will be well or not. So in D, it's funny because check it out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So for a fraction on this last one, which I'll do underneath just down here, you've actually got 5 out of 8. Now, here's the trouble. To make a percent, we need the bottom number. We need this bottom number to be 100 if it's going to be a percent. But 8 doesn't go into 100, I don't think. Well, let's check. I don't think it does. Let's see, though. 8 times 10 is 80. So if you count it on from there, 88, 96, and then, 104. So it skips out the 100. So it doesn't go into 100. So we're a bit scuppered. Here's what I'm going to say that we should do, though. I think we should do our decimal first. We should do our decimal first. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to use that amazing skills that I know that you guys have from the very start of the year. The skill that you know that 5/8 is actually the same as 5 divided by 8. Which, if we do our short division from when I first met you guys at the very start of year 7, this is the same as asking the question of how many 8s fit in to 5. So that's the question that we're actually needing to do. Well, how many 8s go into 5? Well, none actually, but there's still the 5 left. We'll add this decimal point, and we'll add a decimal point up there, and what I'm going to put in the bottom here is a place holding 0. And now we've got a question that we actually can do. 8's into 50. Well, 8 times table, tricky one, but hopefully you guys know 8's into 50. Well, it's going to go 6 times, because 6 times 8 is 48, which leaves 2 left to get to 50. Put a place holding 0 in. Cool. 8's into 20 now, 2 times to get to 16, but that still leaves 4, so drat, I still have a remainder. That's rubbish. Anyway, keep going, whack a 0 on. 8's into 40, how many times? 5. Any left? No. So actually, we've done it. That's it. Our decimal that we want right now is not 0.625, and so we actually didn't get the percent first. We got the decimal first, and then we can use our trick backwards. Rather than divide by 100, we'll times by 100. 62.5%, like a ledge. If you got that, you're a percent master. So brilliant work. I'm just going to give you something short to do today. This is just one quick practice sheet. It's just a matching, and it won't take as long as you think because you'll know many of them, I think, anyway. I'll show you what I mean by that too. Okay, here's how you do it. See, there's a 5th there. Color it in, or not color it in, move it in here. So it's a 5th. Cool? That's him done. Now, to get the decimal and the percentage, here you go. I reckon that lots of you know what a 5th is. A 5th is 20%, or 0.2. So you could fill it in straight away. No workings out required if you've got the idea. Now, if you didn't have the idea, here's what you do. You're like, okay, percents have to be out of 100. To get 5 into 100, you'll times by 20. Times 1 by 20, you get 20 out of 100, which is 20%. As soon as you know that, whack that in. 20%. Now, to get the decimal, you can always just steal it, right? Divide by 100, just giving you 0.2. 0.2. Now, here's what I mean. It's less questions than you think, because that's just allowed you to scratch 3 of them off. So a 5th is now gone. 0.2, there it is now gone. Where's 20%? Oh, just beside, yep. And there's that guy gone too. So you'll just do that, okay? Get all the way through this sheet. If you know what they are, well, you knew that a 5th for instance. So you guys knew that a fifth was 20%. Well, what's 80% going to be then? If 20, yeah, so you see what I mean? I think you can shortcut your way through some of this. And that's it. So keep up the fantastic work, lovely sevens. You've been absolute stars with this. And see you next lesson. Bye, buddies!